What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be looking at MSTR today. We're going to be talking about taking profits and different ideas that you might want to consider if you don't have an exit plan. This isn't financial advice, but just different ideas. There's a million ways that you can take profit. So don't think that these are the only ways that you can do it. You might have a better way in your opinion. So it all depends on what you want. It all depends on your long-term goals. Are you DCAing MSTR through this cycle and to the end of the next cycle? If that's the case, then this video, honestly, like, you can hear it maybe for the next cycle if you want to, but it's really not going to pertain to you as much. But if you're trying to, catch this next leg up and potentially get into this next one coming up, if we get it, then this might be for you. And if you're just trying to get out of MSTR completely for this entire cycle, then this also might be for you. So we have a couple ideas that we're thinking of, where if you use the SMA, the 20-week SMA as a guidance, and you go from the initial breakout point. So the two initial breakout points that I would point out would be that and this one here. Well, I guess it would be three because we have another one here. So if you were to do it, it would be based off of this breakout point here. You could do something where we'll do two different ones where you do 175%. It depends on what you're anticipating. Obviously, if your price targets are lower, then you can just lower these numbers. But if you're like me and you think that there's a strong chance that we could, reach the top of these channels, how we've seen once and twice already. If you think that this is a possibility, then this might be for you. But you can do something where you do a measured target out to about 175%. And you take, for instance, if you have $100, you take your first $25 right here. You take your next quarter at 200. Now you're at half of your position. Then you take another 25% at 225 from the 20 weekly SMA. And then at 250, you take your next amount right there. So you could do something like that, or you can split it up into threes, and you can do something where it's maybe you can do, like, I don't know, 150 or 175 to start it off, and then you can do 200 is your other third, and then your last third at 225 or something like that. Just an idea. And you can see if you did it here, let's see how it would play out. If you did 175, so if you did 175 for your first 25, oh, I didn't mean to click that, my bad. So you did 175, you take a quarter here, 200, 225, and you could do 250 if you wanted to, or even sooner. As you can see, we're already touching there, so you could probably stop it. So that would have, that would have been a good idea as well. If you still want skin in the game, or you can, just take it out completely at a certain spot. Maybe your target is the top of the channel, the gray line, and you can just take it there 100%. But you just have to be okay with it continuing up, so just keep that in mind. This is more for anybody who doesn't want to sell, or like you want to sell, but you still want some skin in the game, and you don't want to like completely miss the move. This is for you. So this one you could do into thirds as well, 175, maybe 200, and then 225 to finish off your move. So something like that, I feel like that would kind of make sense. That's one way that you can do it for this next move. For instance, if we were to do that, so if you did 175, your first one would be taken at 890, then 200 here, 225 or so, and then 250. Or if you do if you do three thirds, you can take 1/3 here at 175, the second third here at 200, and then 225 or 250, however you want to do the last third. Just an idea. There's plenty of ways to do it. There's probably a better way to do it, but just different ideas to think of. Another way that I was thinking too is if you use the SMA. I think that might be a pretty solid idea as well. This is the EMA, I'm sorry. So I have it right now currently on the 8 EMA. So pretty much it would kind of be like an idea where you're going to use this as a trailing stop loss. So let's say from the bottom of this channel, you ran up, I don't know, 200%, and you're like, all right, you know what? I'm okay with taking profits anywhere here or higher. Then you can kind of just use this EMA as your reference, and that's going to be your like protection. So anything that touches it, you can take profit. So if you rode it up a little bit and you might see it come back down, and you just take your profit here. Or you say, hey, I got way more, like we extended way more than I anticipated from the EMA, I'll just take profit there. So there's different ideas. Kind of the same thing here. You're like, hey, I'm gonna wait till, I don't know, 200%. Anything above there, once we touch it, I'll take profit on the EMA, and you would take your profit here at about 383, and that would be 240% gain. But the same concept too. If you're like, oh, here at 200, and then you see us go from 345 all the way up to 550, you might change your mind and say, you know what, I'm just going to take profit here and not even wait for your EMA, because you know we're extremely overbought at this point. So just an idea. Yeah, so if you did, it would probably be a little bit higher here actually, because let's see, this one was 200, kind of made sense here. From this point on, 200 made sense here as well. So yeah, you could probably do something similar or even a little bit higher. It looks like 200 would only take you to about 750. But if you stretched it out a little bit more and you think we're going to go higher, then you could maybe stretch it out to like, I don't know, 250, 225. And then you say anything above here, I'm willing to, sell my position. And you use the EMA accordingly from here up. But you're not going to sell, essentially below 850. So just three different ways that you could kind of just use it. Of course, we'll be using, for the final top. This is just for this current leg here. For the final top, we'll be using different things like the monthly RSI going above 90. We'll be looking at Bitcoin dominance going underneath 45. We'll be looking at extreme greed, in the 90 to 100% range. We're going to be looking at Coinbase to see where it's trending in the App Store, if it's number one. So that's an idea to get out. Pi cycle top, tether dominance. So we'll be looking at a bunch of different things, but that's for the total peak at the end of the year. So this is just for this next leg here on MSTR. This isn't for the final move. So the idea is trying to maximize this leg to possibly DCA back into this leg for the next leg up, if you believe that MicroStrategy is going to go up higher through the end of this year. That's kind of the concept. And then you could kind of, just pull a fib here. Like let's say we ran up to that gray point that I have drawn out, the top of the channel. And then you could be looking at a bounce somewhere in this region. That golden ratio, 0.5 of the 618 could be landing in the golden zone here, and this could be like when we start to take off again, or we even get a shallow retracement if things are really booming in the market. But it's just an idea, you can do a combination of this with your own strategy. Just have a plan, so when it does come, you don't get caught off guard, and you see your portfolio run all the way up to 550 on MSTR, and then back to 300, and now you're selling down here. I mean, it's still not the end of the world if you bought down here, but nobody wants to lose, 45, 50% of their portfolio to then sell. When you saw a large amount of money and then you still see a good amount of money, it's larger than where you started here, but you don't want that. So just ideas. That's all I have for you guys. A short, quick one. Like and subscribe, share with a friend. I'll see you guys in the next one.